What's up, y'all? It's TruthTiger, and I'm about to drop a hard truth in this video, and that hard truth is that good people will face a lot of rejection, and I'm going to break down why. The main reason is that the world, unfortunately, is not fundamentally a good place, and unfortunately, most people in this world are not really good people. Most people put on a mask and pretend to be good people and show false care, false empathy, false morals, and false ethics. But if you really take that mask off, they basically just have a mentality that's like, I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to try to get all the attention for myself, all the resources for myself. A lot of people, when you really strip it all away, have a very selfish mentality. They don't really care about others around them. And not only that, but most people have a very ignorant mentality where they kind of don't want to have to use their brain. They don't want to have to think for themselves. They don't want to have to do justice and stand up to evil. They don't have any courage to do that. Most people are not very honest. They're going to try to tell people what they want to hear. They're going to try to exaggerate their accomplishments to make themselves look better. And your average person does not really have much morals or ethics or goodness that they really stand on. And our society itself and our societal institutions themselves, they do the same thing where they try to look like they're all good and nice and, all the societal institutions are good, whatever, government, religion, the education system, there's a long list of societal institutions, but they try to make it look like they're so good and nice, but that's really a mask. Underneath, they just want power, they want control, they want money, they want influence, and they want to be on the top of the pyramid. And it's the bottom line. And if you're truly, genuinely a good person, you're not going to fit in with these people. Because what they do is they put on this mask and they're fake nice and they try to act like they're these decent people, but underneath, that's not who they really are. Underneath, they're not good people. And when you have genuine goodness in your heart and you don't have to wear a mask, they become suspicious of you. It's really weird, but people are suspicious of good people because it's like you come as a dove, you come as a sheep, and they slam the door in your face and will not let you in. But then a bunch of scorpions and rattlesnakes come crawling and slithering in, and they're like, oh, come on in, come on in. And in the end of the day, the evil that they enable and allow is going to turn against them, and it's not going to be good for them at all to be doing that. It's really not, but it can kind of leave us like, I came as a dove, I came as a sheep, I came as someone who was, innocent. I came with innocence and truth and love in my heart, and they slammed the door in my face. Why would they reject me? You can really feel like that, but the reason why is because they're not with goodness, they're not with love, they're not with truth. And that's a big part of being a good person, is being truthful. A lot of people are very, very scared and intimidated of the truth that we carry, and they want to shut that truth down. They don't want that truth to be told because their twisted up idea of what's good is to enable a lie, to enable deception. Their twisted up idea of what's good is to suck up to people, to tell people what they want to hear. That's their twisted up idea of what's good. Their twisted up idea of what's good is to climb the social hierarchy, to become popular, to have social influence, to be someone who gets a lot of attention, to have social dominance and power, whatever it is. They think that by climbing the social ladder, that's good. There's a form of ethics and morals to that, and there is not. There really isn't. It's the opposite of that. And what goes along with that hand in hand is the acquisition of money, trying to get money, trying to, worshiping the almighty dollar, worshiping politics. They have all these false gods that they worship. And when we come in with truth, we threaten their false gods. We threaten all these false idols that they have put up above themselves. And they don't want that threatened. They can't stand that. They can't handle that because they're going to realize their whole life was in deception. And that's the thing is because we carry the truth, we make a lot of these people feel very stupid without even meaning to. because they have not questioned the premise of anything. They haven't asked why society is the way it is. They have not looked and asked why things really are the way they are at all. They haven't. And they have not sought any kind of true, genuine spiritual truth. A lot of people will deny that spirituality even exists. And a lot of people will say you have to do it through organized religion, or you have to, have this kind of twisted up form of spirituality. And you can't be straight up connected to God. And our spiritual connection really offends a lot of people. And it's like, I'm not doing any of this to bother them. I'm living my life. I'm being myself. I'm not getting anybody's business. And people are bothered. People are upset. And, when you shine your light, it offends. It offends the people who live in darkness. Because now they see stuff about themselves, about the world, about society that they don't want to see. They have to now face these uncomfortable truths. And they don't want to do that. And they'd much rather just get rid of us, slam the door in our face, block us off, close the windows off. They would much rather just lock us outside than have to actually deal with reality. Because they're living in a fool's paradise. They believe this comforting lie. They do. That's what the ego does. It puts delusions in people's minds so that there's a comforting lie they can believe rather than having to actually face reality. And that's the last thing that they want to do. And when they see a good person who has truth and who has love, they can't face that. They can't deal with that. They can't rock with it. They can't. And with a lot of these people too, it's like, because they have been so accepting of the snakes and the scorpions, because they have never closed the door on a snake or a scorpion, they have never crushed a snake or a scorpion, never stood up to any of that, because they really bow down to that, when they see us, they're like, all right, now there's a dove, now there's a sheep, now there is someone who is nice, who is kind, who is innocent. Now they're going to go kick us around. And now they're going to try to make us into the bad guy. It's very, very weird. It's like they will let themselves get victimized by the snakes and the scorpions. They will let the snakes and the scorpions take advantage of them and do whatever. And then when we come around, it's like they want to make us into the bad guy because they're projecting the fact that they cannot stand up for themselves against the actual predators. So now they try to make us into like some kind of bad guy. They do. And it's like, because they really also worship the way of the world. All the things I talked about previously, all of these societal idols, they worship and they hold up above their head, and it's like a god to them. And when we come around, it's like we have a different God, the actual God, the God of love and truth. They become like very offended, like we have, mocked their false God. And now that they feel this like, this evil conviction, to try to attack us, to try to reject us, to try to cause problems for us. It's the truth. They do. And I've had to deal with a lot of that stuff where people just switch it up and get weird on me and stuff all of a sudden, and it's really not good. And I can see it in the minds of like these narcissists and stuff I have to deal with. I can see the moment they realize I'm a decent person, I'm a truthful person, I'm someone who stands up for myself, I'm someone who stands up for goodness, I'm someone who tries to actually genuinely help people. And I can see they freak out. They lose it. And I think in their minds, it's like, that's not even an option. Like, being a good person to them is just like, that's not even really a reality to them. I think they feel like they have to be evil. I think they feel like the only way to succeed in life for them is to be evil. I really think they feel like you have to sell your soul to Satan. You have to step on someone's neck. You have to mistreat someone. You have to lie. You have to do something dishonest or immoral to get ahead, to succeed. And when they see us succeeding and getting ahead without being immoral, without being evil, by telling the truth, when they see us moving forward honestly and with love, it freaks them out, because in their mind, the formula is you sell your soul, you do evil, and you get ahead. And they see someone getting ahead by being a good person and doing the right thing, and their whole life formula explodes on them, literally. And I've talked to people about this where they really believe you got to be a psycho to get ahead. And there was an old narcissist at a job I had, and I was talking to him, and he's telling me about how he wants to like become a sociopath so he can get ahead in life and, you know, just like be more evil or something. Literally, he said that to me. I can't make this stuff up. And I really think these people like want to give themselves over to evil so they can have popularity and material success, get attention. I don't know, whatever it is these people are after. There's something their ego wants. There's something their ego is like craving. And they think that, you know, you shouldn't even be trying to satisfy your ego in the first place. You should be trying to satisfy your true inner being within your heart. You shouldn't try to be satisfying the ego in your mind. That's not going to get you anywhere. But they want to like really satisfy their ego and do all this stuff. And they believe that like they kind of worship their own ego too. And you know, the way we rock, the way we roll, we try to be against our own egos. We try to keep our own ego contained. We try to limit our ego. We try to make our ego smaller. We don't worship our own egos, whereas they really worship their own ego. That's probably the highest thing they worship. And when they see us being humble, it freaks them out. Our humility drives them crazy because that's not like, to them, being humble and, you know, realizing there's bigger things than you and realizing that there's other people and other situations and it's not all about us. That's just like not even an option for them. They never even realized that like to be someone who can put others first, to be someone who can realize that it's not all about me. It's not. There's things so much bigger than me. It's not all about me at all. And to realize that and to live that and to be like, to have that kind of maturity, it drives them crazy. It drives them nuts because they realize how immature they really are. They realize how like self-obsessed they really are. They begin to realize how much that they're just smelling their own farts and saying that it smells good. And you know, when you're good and you're honest and you're true and you're going, no, my own farts don't smell good. They smell like farts. They do. When you do that and they see that, it's like they realize how immature they are. And they realize that like there's a whole other way to do things that they had not even considered. There's a whole other way of thinking about things that they didn't even consider. And when they realize that way exists, it makes them feel very, very stupid. It does. They feel very like dumb. And they also feel like we're mocking them somehow. I'm not even kidding. Like, especially with these narcissists, they feel like we're mocking them or trying to offend them. And it's like, I'm being myself and I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to, you know, not trying to bother you at all. But they somehow take it the wrong way. You know, really, I mean, if you're like a nice person, people will really like, if you're like a genuinely good person, people will really try to take things you say the wrong way. They will. They'll try to find ways to get all easily offended. They will. It's because they want to kick someone around. You know, and they're not standing up to evil. They're not doing that, so what are they going to do instead? They're going to find a good innocent person and they're going to reject that innocent person, kick that innocent person around, slam the door on that face of that innocent person, treat that innocent person like dirt. That's what they're going to do. And that's why you got to walk away and be your own person. And it's why you got to say, all right, peace, I don't need you. It's as soon as it starts, as soon as they start being weird, you just go, all right, bye-bye. And, you know, that also makes them mad. There's no way to win with these people. The only way to win with evil is to stand up to it. The only way to win with evil is to not fall into that temptation. The only way to win with evil is to hold on to good and not let go. You know, like these kind of people with their evil and their games, you know, because once you walk away and you reject them, now they feel all rejected and mad. And they really think in their minds that evil is stronger than good. Deep down in their heart, they believe that evil is stronger than good. So they think that because they're evil, they should be able just to come in and just overpower you easy and reject you, and they think they'll just have their way with you. And then when you stand up to them and you're able to refute their weird arguments they throw at you, and you're able to stand up to their games, and you walk away from them and reject them and don't even want to be their friend, they thought it was going to go the opposite. And I've seen people really go crazy just because I rejected them. And I'm like, you're not a good person. You don't treat me well. You know, you treat me like crap. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to hang around you. Why would I want to do that? You're manipulative. You're weird. We're not friends here. What? And they thought that you'd like want to be their buddy. And it's like, I'm not going to be friends with evil. Good and evil are not friends. You know, I've had a lot of people like that. They thought I like want to be their friend and stuff. And it's like, no, I don't. Why would I want to do that? You know? And now they're mad at that. And it's the only way you're going to satisfy them is by being as evil and as egotistical and as they are. And deep down, what they're trying to do with all this stuff is drag you down to their level. They want to dampen your wick. You know, they want to throw water on your torch. They want to throw water on your fire. They do. They do. They really do. And the thing is because we're good people, there's nothing they can really do to like, they'll try to accuse us of stuff, but it's going to be hard for them because we're decent people. So they're going to have to make up weird stuff, misinterpret things the wrong way, just freak out at us out of nowhere because they can't find any way to justify this hatred they have toward us. And the thing is evil and good are not friends. You know, they're not. Evil and good are in opposition. And when you have good in you, you're going to be in opposition to the evil out there. You are. And one more thing about evil people is they don't think for themselves. They have this collectivistic kind of thinking that they have where they see that a majority of people are willing to take on evil and have low morals and don't love their fellow and do not have a mentality of truth, love, or peace and are not trying to like do good in life or trying to help others or tell the truth or be a good, loving, empathetic person, whatever. They're not trying to do any of that. You know? They're not. And they think that just because a majority of people are doing something, it makes it right. They have this bandwagon kind of like logical, group consensus kind of logical fallacy where if the whole group believes a lie, then the lie becomes true. If a whole bunch of lemmings run off a cliff together, then that's the right thing to do. So because they see a lot of other people taking on this evil, they have this strength in numbers kind of idea that, well, if everybody else is doing it, it must be okay. It must be the right thing to do. It must be what everyone else is doing. And by being good, you really go against the crowd. You go against the grain. You go against everything. You do. You know, you're going to be the black sheep and the odd one out by being good because the vast majority of people have put themselves into evil. And one more thing about being good is there is faith and belief that comes with goodness. There really is. There is a belief in, belief in God, belief in being able to do whatever you can do. Just a belief that like you can do good things, a belief that we're not limited, we're not tied down, we're not chained down. And that's not how they think. They think that we're limited, we're tied down, we're chained down, and they have this mentality of doubt. They have a mentality of doubt. And ultimately, these people do not believe that they can accomplish. They don't believe that they can achieve. They don't. And when you have a mentality that you can achieve and you can accomplish and you can break free, that's going to piss a lot of people off because they are very married to the idea that they're stuck on the bottom, that they can't be happy, that they're not going to be happy, that life is miserable, that they're very married to these ideas. And look, life can suck sometimes. I'm not going to say that life is a rose garden all the time. It's not. But a lot of these people are very married to a very negative, unhealthy way of thinking. And you challenge that. You do. Conversely, there's a lot of people that really live in a fool's paradise and are very, very, very naive and are very not willing to accept uncomfortable truths and uncomfortable realities. And you're going to piss those people off too, because you're going to say, hey, like, there are problems out there. There's issues out there. And I've had some conversations with people where I talk about stuff that's happening in the world, and they just shut down. They get upset. They're like, I don't want to talk about that. And it's like, well, it's a very evil thing that's going on in the world. I tried to talk to someone about the Epstein Island, and they just shut down. And I'm like, you don't want to talk about that? You don't want to think? You don't want to address that? That's got to be addressed. That's really bad what we're doing as a society. You know, and then that will shut them down too. And they just don't want to live in a reality. They either want to live in this, I can't do anything. They kind of do both at the same time. They have this mentality that everything's so hard and I can't succeed and whatever. But at the same time, they also have this weird, like, idealistic, like, nothing bad happens in the world. There's no dark, creepy things going on. You know, they have like both of those mentalities going on at the same time. And, you know, you're coming in and breaking that up with truth. And they don't want to change up the way they think. They don't want to even consider different things. So again, they'll reject you. They'll reject you. They'll shut down. They won't want to talk about it, you know. And when you talk to them about your goals, and you have genuine goals, and you believe in yourself, and you can accomplish these things, and you can do these things, they're going to come and start to try to fill you up with doubt and say you can't do it, you're going to be stuck at the bottom, really because they're scared you're going to leave. And, you know, your success makes people very, very jealous. They don't have a mentality of like someone else grows and they're like, yeah, someone else grew. Someone else became successful. That's what if I see someone else grow and become successful, it makes me believe that I can do it all the more, and it inspires me. Whereas most people, they see someone else become successful and they become very jealous, especially if it's someone they know and someone they used to hang out with or still do hang out with. They're gonna say, oh, people, you know, he was my friend. Us friends, we stay at the bottom. That's what our group does. We stay at the bottom. And, you know, rather than celebrating your success, it hurts their ego. It really, because, you know, the ego is like very selfish. And seeing someone else do better, or not even do better necessarily, just seeing someone else have anything, the ego believes it should all be for them. So they freak out. And it's very, you know, you're gonna just, if you're a good person, if you're on your stuff, you're gonna face a lot of rejection. And these are the reasons why. Keep being good, keep being truthful, keep doing your thing, hold your own sense of truth in your own mind. Don't be looking around to all these people to give you a sense of truth. Don't. But man, like if you're a good person, you're gonna face a lot of rejection. You're gonna find it's tough to make friends. It's tough to find like-minded people. And you're also going to find that a lot of these people, like, they want to keep you stuck. They want to keep you stuck. They want to keep you down. And they're not good for you. You know, they're not good for you. They're not even people that you want to be around in the first place. And even if they don't outright reject you, there is a rejection of who you are as a person that's going to come from them. They're going to start to treat you weird. They're going to start to reject your ideas. They're going to start to reject your kindness. I've had that too, where like I try to be a nice person, I try to be empathetic, and someone has a problem they're going through or whatever, and I'm like, man, I'm really sorry to hear that, you know, and they all kind of look at me like, what, he has empathy? We don't do that here, you know. And, you know, people fake empathy too. And I want to like really reiterate that point. Like, people fake a lot of stuff. And when they see that we're the real McCoy, that we're not putting on this mask and giving people fake love and fake kindness and fake empathy and fake truth and all this stuff, that we have the actual goods, they realize, like, oh man, like, they start to realize that they are wearing a mask. And they start to realize, like, how unhappy they really are and how much their life is kind of a lie. And they don't want to face that reality being around us, because the light exposes all the lies. It does. It really does. And, you know, a lot of people would just rather reject us than have to face all that. All right, y'all. I've gone on pretty long here. I'm going to end this video, but thank you all so much for watching. God bless, much love, and I will see you all next time.